What's up, everybody? This is Taylor Gray. This is episode number 2 of COVID Community. And we're going to have some additional conversations during a time that's probably really weird for all of us. But we're going to make space to talk through how we're feeling about it, what we're seeing, what we're observing. And I think it's just good to let the air out a little bit because there's a lot of pressure all around. So I've got my esteemed co-host here with me, Armand. What's up, bro? How you feeling?
What's going on? I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. We have to ask that question every time we do this. How are you doing?
It's been a long week. I ain't gonna hold you. It's been a very long week, very taxing, but I'm all right. I'm cool.
Yeah, I had a breakdown moment yesterday because I realized I couldn't go out to breakfast anymore, at least for the foreseeable future, and I miss French toast from certain places.
That's a pastor thing. Like, y'all do a lot of breakfasts, right?
On the church card, too. It's glorious. Yeah.
And you just heard from our guest today, man. Man, it's so dope that he's here with us. This is Pastor Shane Huey from VC20. What's up, bro? How you feeling?
Feeling good. How about you?
I'm healthy.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
We are healthy. Yes. We have to make that clear. We are healthy and we are maintaining the
Social
distance. Yes,
6 feet.
that we need to. Don't let the angles fool you.
Right.
We are obeying and complying at this point. So, I think this is man, we could really go in many directions with this conversation just between the three of us. But I wanted to ask y'all something like, what do you think the appropriate amount of drip a pastor should have? Like, what is that? What's the appropriate amount of?
It's a great question. I just think the drip should be consistent. Like, if you're trying to get your shine on only when you're on the stage, that's a red flag to me. But if you just keep the drip consistent, drip away, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
I agree. I think when the drip is only relegated to one part of the frame is when it's trash. So that's usually with the sneakers. So if your whole fit is trash, you got straight leg boot cut jeans with some off-whites, nah, that's not, no.
So how are pastors doing with this? Like, how do you guys feel like? What are you seeing out there? How do you feel like? Is it being controlled or is it too much?
So somebody who sits down, like, I think all of the pastors I know who exhibit that well, I know them personally. I think both of y'all have good style, and anytime I've seen y'all preach, you always carry that good balance of, like, it's not too much over the top, but, like, if you know, you know.
Okay.
That if you know drip is, like, super underrated. It's not like this big, like, supreme, like, right here. Like, it's not like, though there's nothing wrong with that in moderation, but you know what I'm saying? Like, versus other cats I see, they do way too much.
What do you think?
I think they're wilding right now. I think pastors are wilding. Like, it looks like a costume. Like, it doesn't even look like they feel comfortable up there. Like, they don't know how to move in it. They don't know, like, they don't appreciate good anti-crease techniques. So it's like, there's some things happening where it's just like, I don't know how they're doing right now. The pastors who are just kind of venturing into this world because their stylists are probably not getting paid right now. So they have to make their own decisions. Like, do they know how to appropriately accessorize the BAPE? I don't think so. So, I think people are wilding right now.
You got some guys who rock the streetwear, and then you got other guys who are Chelsea boots and skinny jeans. That's not my vibe, but I see some guys pulling that off well, so kudos to them. It's not me, but God bless them. Taylor, you're gonna rock some Chelsea boots up here?
Never. Chelsea is not. No, that's never. See, that's the thing is, like, the sharp turn. When you see somebody who you've always seen in one way and then they make the sharp turn, if I put on Chelsea boots, that would be a sharp turn. And you'd be like, bro, are you good? I would want you to check on me.
This is an intervention. If I see you with Chelsea boots, I'm drop kicking you, man.
Yeah, dog.
Like, just out of love for you.
That's love. I was just going to say that. That's love. That can only be love.
I'm walking out mid-service. I'm waiting till you get deep in your word, and I'm going to just stand up and just.
But you got to make a scene. Like, you got to, like,
Absolutely.
Yeah. You got to hit the wall or throw your Bible up in the air or something like that.
Blasphemy. Just rip my shirt. Like,
Yeah. Yes. Well, hey, listen, we just got to keep an eye on that. I felt like I could ask y'all that. There's not many people who I would ask that, but I appreciate that. So today we're going to talk about an interesting topic. I think the way we've been navigating this has given us an opportunity to think through some some different, I guess, social applications in a different way because of how society is adjusting to our current COVID situation. So, what I wanted to talk to you guys about is like the state of romantic relationships, dating relationships, marriage relationships, people who are living in close quarters or close contact with one another, and how are they doing with that? Like, sometimes people go to work to escape, and sometimes people go to church to escape from each other, and they haven't spent a whole lot of time. So I guess from a general perspective, like, have you guys talked to anybody? You have any intel on how things are going?
Yeah, so I pastor young adults. They're all like super thirsty, and I just talked to one gal yesterday who basically decided to forego the social distancing. Like, she's still kicking it with her boyfriend and everything. Now this is her situation is a bit well. Actually, it might not be unique, but it's one that I felt for because this young lady lives completely by herself. Like, she doesn't have the luxury of having, mom, dad, or a spouse there. And I was trying to put myself in her shoes. Like, if I were really like straight up just all alone, I probably would try to bend the rules as much as I could as well. And so a lot of the couples I know, they're still just kind of kicking it. They're like, if I get COVID, whatever. They're probably not that reckless, or they would never say it like that. But there's just such a desire for real relationship and connection that they're still just doing their thing.
Yeah, so since you pastor in that context, is there a certain kind of compassion that we need to have for young adults that are being kind of stigmatized as reckless? Like, because you described like an actual human situation where people feel things and they're not just like trying to hurt anybody.
I think whenever you rush to assumptions just by what you see on somebody's Instagram, you automatically got to check yourself, whether that's like that's for any degree of judgment. So I do think it's probably good wisdom for us to when we survey their Instagram posts, not come down on them like, you're being reckless, you're putting others at risk, and try to, like I said, just put myself in their situation. I think it's really easy to identify the difference between recklessness and non-recklessness, if that's a word. And so I do think that we would probably do well to extend to them some measure of compassion and understanding, because like I said, man, I mean, we're relational beings. God wired us for relationship, and when that's taken from you, you feel that, and I can't really relate because it's not my experience, but I would guess that if I were just straight up alone, I would probably be craving that human interaction too. I'd probably like check your temperature at the door, but if you're good, come on in, let's watch a movie.
Yeah, I mean, there's means that's a lot of wisdom and balance, I think, in actually considering like our humanity, how people as human beings are wrestling with this, and what connection looks like in the middle of all this, because virtual is still limited, like.
And I think another thing to remember is that these are grown folks. They have agency. They are going through a process of decision making and discernment, and so I'm sure that if they are having a loved one or a sibling or somebody come over to kick it, that they've taken into account the risk, and they're doing everything that they can to alleviate it. They're washing their hands, they're checking temperatures, and so I think just remembering that people are grown, and I'm extending to the people that I see on Insta still kicking it the benefit of the doubt, and assuming that they're operating out of a place of understanding, and they're trying to alleviate the risk any way they can, but still desiring to maintain that relationship and human connection. Because when I'm talking a lot, but man, like I've had so many Zoom calls and Skype meetings and FaceTime, it's just not the same. It's just it's not the same.
Yes, brother, it is not the same. Like, even being here with you guys, like we can feel the difference between like whether we were doing this on Zoom or just being here. Armand, how would you respond if somebody said that they were looking for their COVID cut buddy?
Their quarantine.
Yeah. If they just rolled up on you like, I'm just out here looking for my quarantine.
Yo, I know if I wasn't, happily engaged, like, I would be out here. I already know what time it is. Saved,
Okay.
sanctified, delivered, filled with the Holy Ghost, and looking for something in the meantime to just what I'm saying? It ain't even got to go there. It just need that, like Shane said, relational. I just need that space there. Because I'm very much like to myself, and I'm a homebody, so I can do that. But like now we're in week 3, and I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
like if I wasn't in the situation I'm in now, I definitely would be like looking for it. So if somebody would ask me, I would have compassion. I'm like, I feel you. I would give them both sides of the coin, and then ultimately let them make their own decision.
Yeah, man, I think you're right. Like, we are in week 3 now. Like, we're halfway through week 3, and that's crazy to even say because we have so much more to go. Today is April the 1st, and we've been extended through April the 30th. With this kind of idea in mind, like psychologically, that can mess with you. So I understand those who are out there just kind of thinking of their prospects. I think I saw a tweet like earlier on, like when the whole quarantine thing started, there was this young lady who tweeted, she said, now guys have to actually respect me for who I am as a person. You have to court me. You have to write me poetry. You have to like actually find out what I'm thinking.
No, I don't.
Well, like I said, that was week 1. So now as we are at week 3, have some of those rules changed?
Absolutely.
Yes. So here we are trying to understand how we relationally relate to each other. That's kind of like the more single dating, like in an in-between phase, if you will, kind of perspective. What about marriages? Like, what do you think? How do you think marriages are doing during this time? Or how's your marriage?
Yeah, so I can just speak personally. My marriage, Elise and I, we were on the uptick prior to the whole quarantine, the COVID outbreak, because I actually just recently had a pretty severe stroke, and so I've been in recovery since the beginning of the year. So COVID and stay at home kind of works for me right now. Like I need to be at home anyway, but I think just the trauma of the stroke brought us together, and it's only been up from there, honestly, and time together, like you said, Taylor, some spouses, they go to work to escape, like they need that time apart. Time together will really test your relationship, man, because you see the real person. I've been married, it'll be 9 years in October, and so I feel like I know Elise pretty well, but you continue to discover all new things, all new quirks and things about their personality that you don't like. But for us, the proximity has actually been a blessing, man. We've been spending a lot of time together. We've been prioritizing prayer. Lisa and I, we function pretty independent spiritually, so we don't really pray together. We used to try to do Bible studies. We just get into arguments, so it's like, no, it's not worth it. So we get filled up corporately, which, I mean, corporate worship is my thing. So I feel pretty spiritually malnourished, not being able to go to church and worship with my people, but we've been praying together to try to give life and find life in one another. And so
I can validate Shane is the corporate worshiper. Like, he was the one white dude in an extremely conservative space who was like up front with his hands up saying hallelujah, like super loud, like being marginalized without even knowing it. Like, but he didn't care. His back was like to everybody.
Right.
Like, I'm going in.
Yeah, man. We grew up in similar church experiences, and I'm not leaving that behind. God is good. And so, yeah, corporate worship is a vacancy right now, but on the marriage front, I mean, we're good. Like we're having meaningful conversation. I mean, it doesn't come without its trials, right? Like, at the end of the day, she's tired. I got to put the boys to bed. There's some friction between us, but I would say largely for us, time together has been really beautiful and really redeeming, man. So that's just me. But on the flip side of that coin, I can imagine there's probably a number of marriages, probably a lot of folks watching this podcast who maybe their marriage was straining before. And I think the condition of your marriage prior to COVID is just being brought to the surface, right? So good, bad, or whatever, it's coming out right now.
And yes, that's actually a sermon. Because that can be said of how you relate to God even. So, now to piggyback off of what Shane was saying, it's interesting to see how people are processing that proximity, and thankfully there are examples like this that it's actually increasing the richness and value of the time together. On the other side of the coin, there is an evidence that you guys were always distant. You know, not just this didn't make you, you know, I guess force you into a situation where you look at each other as strangers. You were treating each other as strangers before this, and now you have to sit with that reality. And hopefully the people who are seeing that are pushing each other to rediscover things that you appreciate about one another, maybe reinvigorate something that seemed dead. But there are definitely those who are they're maybe in an headed at an accelerated pace towards divorce, and they're looking at it as like, this is a deal breaker. I didn't know I had to actually be around you and get to know you. Like, this was a partnership, like a business relationship, and now this is like turning into something I never signed up for. And so there's like a heaviness to it all too, where I think there's some really tough realities being faced. And you know, like the fallout from that is a specific kind of situation, is if you have kids. And you know, like if your kids are seeing mom and dad interact in that way, and there's like there's the school is out, you know, which is that dynamic is creating like this forced nuclear interaction between each other. And if that's not looking healthy, then what's their condition once the schools reopen and they have to go back into society and re-engage? So there's some really tough, like, I guess I'm the dark guy. Yeah, there's bad stuff happening too, but I think it helps temper our understanding of like the effect on society. So
I'm curious about you being engaged, Armand. I didn't realize you were engaged, man. How long ago did that happen?
Yeah, I didn't really want to like. We didn't really put that like out there. You know what I'm saying? But
it's out there, brother.
It's fine.
Expand on it. Expound on it. Love and marriage.
Yo, Taylor's been like this the whole time.
Shout her out, bro. You ain't gonna do that? No, okay, don't worry about it.
You tell my story, man. Tell my testimony. We got engaged on Christmas. So we've been together for like 2 years. But I've known her since 2012, something like that. Somebody like me who my entire adult life has been to myself. I've literally only had 2 roommates. I'm 30, I'm 35, I'll be 36 this year. So from the time I was 18 and I joined the military, I had 1 roommate who just so happened to be my best friend. We lived together for a year. Then he got married and moved out the dorms. And then I was married before for a year and a half. And so, you know, we were together then. Outside of that, I've always been by myself. And the only time I've had to share space for extended period of time is with my kids. My kids live in different states. They come out for the summer. You know, after about the 2nd or 3rd week, after that honeymoon phase goes over, it's like, get out of my house, get out of my space. So this is brand new because my fiance, hey babe, hey. She's very much like in my space. She is definitely, her love language is physical touch, quality time. So she likes to snuggle, cuddle. She likes attention, put your phone down, look at me, how are you feeling, how are you? She's like that, but she's very casual with it. She's not like real aggressive about it, which I appreciate. And if I'm not feeling it, I can communicate that. And she's like, okay, that's fine. But even then, we're still having, like, I'm having a challenge, like, oh, wow, like, again, you know what I'm saying? So it's good because this is something that I want and I desire.
Yeah.
But it's the stretch of, you know, shoot, my life is not my own anymore. My money's not mine. My time isn't mine, you know? So that's all new, and that's really being accelerated, to Taylor's point, with all of this because, you know, marriage is imminent and, you know, she's in my space.
Hopefully not too imminent because you can't, I mean, weddings is another thing. Like I've had several folks who had wedding dates planned and have had to cancel their weddings, man. And I mean, that's a lot of money lost and just the heartache of like having your heart set on being married and then having to postpone that. I can't imagine. It's got to be tough to endure.
Yeah, man, we're having a separate episode about the money situation because you're right. Economically, this is jacking everybody up. So I got a couple of things I want to do to conclude. I want to ask you guys, since we're all in relationship, what's something that you have noticed about your other that is significant, it's a blessing, or it's just something that becomes a little bit more clear during this time?
Yeah, I think I have a newfound appreciation for my wife as a mother, like the strength that she's displayed with our two boys. You know, I thought I had an understanding of what she does on a daily basis, but honestly, I had no idea the amount of work and the amount of patience and grace it takes to care for our two kids. Like, we call them our coworkers. Like, if y'all heard this thing, your kids are your coworkers now. And I got the worst two coworkers in the world,
I'm
y'all.
about to say,
I don't get
yeah.
anything done.
I'm evaluating now.
Right, but Elise, I mean, she's just so gifted in motherhood, and I mean, she works too. Like, she's not a stay-at-home mom, so the balance between motherhood and wifery and working, like she's a wizard, man. She just has so much strength, and I think I have a newfound appreciation for that.
It's good.
What about you?
Man, my wife, you guys probably know this just if you follow her on Instagram. What's up, babe? She is.
I gotta give mine a shout out too. Hey, Elise. What's up?
Yeah. She is so much more of a craftsman than I am. Right now, she's building a fence, a privacy fence.
Jesus.
Yeah, literally, and I'm like sitting in the window watching, like almost like closing my robe, like like do you want me to go shopping for you? Do you want me to do like I don't know what she's out there killing it like as a craftsman. I'm hearing all manner of buzzsaws down in the basement. Or she's got a literal tool belt. Like, so it's time.
How does it make you feel?
Bro, I want to get an apron.
Around?
Like, I want to, like something has to match up here. I don't get the tool belt, so I get to kiss the cook. So I got to figure this thing out. But she's killing it. It makes me love her even more. This is just like bringing out. This is what she does with nervous energy, or just like I have to have something to do, and it turns into something fruitful and productive. So, man, I appreciate that. What about you, bro?
My wife is so content with her life, and I'm very much like I'm one of those people. I always need something to do. I need something to pursue. That's kind of where like a lot of my fashion is birthed out of. Just all right, I just bought a pair of shoes, but I need another pair. I'll buy a pair for other people, stuff like that. But she's just so cool with where she is and who she is and what's on her plate, and spending time with her daughter and doing her work as a social worker. And she's on like this 28-day like detox where she's drinking this tea, and she's eating like this pea soup that looks like peanut butter crunch with kale in it, and it just looks terrible.
Devil is a liar.
But her contentment and her resolve to finish that out it's like, it's convicting in like the best way possible. She's always telling me without telling me, like, you don't need that. You good, you got it. And that's good for me. I need somebody to tell me, no, stop, don't. If anybody caught that reference.
Yeah. I look, that's dope.
I got one more real quick. So another thing that I've been
He's
blessed
trying to
by
top
and
us, y'all.
grateful.
Like,
no, I'm not.
We got more.
My wife.
I got the last word.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure this is true for all three of us. I've been grateful for my wife's spiritual leadership. Like, she was the one that came to me and was like, hey, we need to pray more, especially now.
Yes.
And, for me, my inclination is into spiritual apathy. I get my own quiet time in, but she's been the one that has really rallied us and as a family. And so really grateful for that.
That's super dope. Well, I guess let me ask this question. Like, what do you guys feel like is a super unhealthy hip-hop love song?
Lord, go.
DMX, how's it going down?
Bro, you're literally in my mind, dog. I was going to say that.
We had that conversation. I'll pick another one. I'll pick another one.
No. I got another one. It's still DMX.
Yeah, because basically he gets a girl who's in a relationship with another guy, like constantly has sex with her, basically starts convincing her to move drugs for him, and then finally, like, he just basically says, no, go back to your husband and your kids, like, mad love, boo, to the end, ha ha. Yo, ending a dismissal of a woman is with a ha ha, like, my dude, what are you doing?
And then he layered it. Ha ha. Like it wasn't just ha ha. It was like, let me get that ha ha back. So yes, a lot of y'all like whatever teetering millennials and Gen Yers, and you don't know
Is
who
Gen
DMX
Y a thing? That's what they're calling it
is.
now?
That it?
I think it's Gen Z, right?
Gen Z.
Gen
Yeah.
Z is like our kids, I think. Actually, our kids are behind Gen Z. I don't know.
My kids are, I got a 14, 11-year-old, so my kids are Gen Z.
Well,
I believe.
whatever they are,
Whatever.
and a little bit older. Some of y'all don't even know who DMX is, so go look up Earl Simmons. My song is "What These Chickens Want," you know, or you know, and you can look up that song on your own time, featuring Cisco. It's unhealthy for many reasons.
Man, I'm so terrible at this. Like, I'm the worst at like. I don't know. Explosive came like on.
Oh,
That came to
acceptable.
mind. A great beat, but questionable lyrical content. Like the beat is top 5 for me, but you know, yeah.
All right, well, that's how we're going to end. Don't listen to those songs. We
Not.
will literally
Edited version?
Yeah. No, just
Actually-
stay away from those. Stay healthy. Like stay on the positive side of the podcast, because that's where we want to camp out. We're really thankful for our spouses, and just thankful
That's a weird juxtaposition. Yeah, I love my wife. She's spiritually leading me right now, and then we go into what's the raunchiest hip hop song ever?
Yeah, stay away. Stay away.
Stay
Like,
away.
That's our final exhortation, is stay away.
Because
So
you might listen to those songs and you might want to, that might lead you to like find your quarantine, and you know, it'll keep you away from the Lord or something.
this has been COVID Community. Thank y'all for listening, watching, etc. Y'all be safe out there. Peace.